Ladies and gentlemen, this is Carlo. As you know, we are here in the Golden Studio in Manchester. And I don't like saying something like we have a special guest in the building. But actually today I have a special guest in the building. He's somebody I know for a very, 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 very long time. And at the time she was young and fresh and hot and good looking. I'm joking. She's still good looking. Well out of phrase, not too bad. Mrs. Pleased to see you again. Can you please introduce yourself?
Okay, my name's Debbie. I'm a long-standing friend of Carlo's. Known him a long time. He's very cheeky and lucky I can't reach across and punch him in the nose.
Well, she wish. My darling, can you bring the microphone slightly towards you?
Okay, there.
Yeah, and now keep talking.
Okay.
Keep talking a bit like I am. If you know.
Oh, like lean in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want to do that again?
That's okay. That's okay. Right now we have the introduction, so
Right.
that's good. Debbie, please. My company is here to give people a voice,
That's
and
right.
we decided to give you a voice today because ever since I know you, you had a lot of things to say. So this is why you got a voice now. We would like you to first of all introduce yourself. Briefly, and then after that I'm going to ask you some question because we have a plan, isn't it?
Yep, we do.
Okay. So introduce yourself, please, Debbie.
Okay. So my name's Debbie. As I say, I'm a friend of Carlo's. I'm a mum of 4 children, all grown up now, all adults, all very well adjusted.
Thank God, thank God.
Awake human beings, yeah. I'm incredibly proud of them, and I guess in some ways I'm proud of myself for actually bringing them this far, and considering what's gone on throughout my life as an adult, to be fair, they're pretty well adjusted. I've just done my best, so yeah.
Yep. I couldn't have put it better myself. I invited you because Debbie is going to be one of my star podcast narrator, but she will not narrate somebody else's story. She's going to do her own story. As you know, podcast now is on the rise because people don't really have the time to turn the page of a book. And ever since I know her, we've been talking a lot about that. She even started to write about her life story, and I said to her, as soon as I open my studio, you've seen Dara and other people, you see Joey, I decided it's time for me to give Debbie a voice as well, because it's important. So Debbie, after this discussion, which is obviously the promotion for the podcast that we're going to produce here at the Golden Studio, can you please tell me what you expect really from this open-hearted discussion? Like, what do you want after it will be out there, so to speak?
I think to begin with, I'd like to say that my story's not necessarily unique. There are a lot of people out there with the same story, and I want to be able to reach them so they know that although there'll be similarities in between what's gone on for me and what goes on for other people, and they can recognise that it's not normal.
Yep.
You know, what they're experiencing, that's not normal. You don't have to be in that. There are normal people out there and they're not normal, and sometimes, we attract, for whatever reasons, people that aren't normal, and you don't have to stay with them, and you don't have to put up with it. You don't have to convince yourself that the ups and downs that you go through in your life, and it doesn't have to really be like that all the time.
I understand exactly how you feel, Debbie, because there is at the moment with the coronavirus, with the violence in America and all the other things, there is a movement obviously called the Black Lives Matter movement, and I support every movement, obviously, unless it is a kill black life, but what I want to say is that, yes, it's not just the problem of the black people. There are other people out there who suffer things, who suffer violence, domestic violence, abuse, scheming, masochist sometimes. There's so many things happening out there. And one of the reasons why I also wanted to talk with Debbie and introduce Debbie to you, the audience, is because I wanted you to know that I'm black, Debbie is white, I suffered something, she suffered something, but it still makes us both humans. And that's the reason why we believe that right now it's time for us to kind of like recognize this.
It's to hear your voice, to speak your truth.
Yeah.
Not every act of violence towards you is going to be physical.
Yeah.
Some can be mental. So the scars that you can have will be invisible, but unfortunately you carry them with you and you project them forward. And I've tried so hard not to project those sort of mental injuries onto my children.
Yeah, no, that's the apparently that's what my mom said to me one day. That's a job of a mom.
Yeah,
that's a job of a mom. And but this is the end of the question I actually wanted to ask. I mean, without naming the person yet, because that will come eventually later on in the podcast. Are you still in touch with the person or some of those people?
I'm aware of them. I don't have to be in touch with them now because my children are adults.
Mm-hmm.
For the main two characters, dare I say, no, I don't have to have very much to do with them. The children deal with that side of things themselves. If I had to, I would have no problem because it's all for my children.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd walk past them in the street.
Yeah. That's
I would not entertain them on any level.
I understand. Do you think I'm sorry, I know usually my question comes from the heart, but this is a serious matter. This is no funny joke. So that's why I wanted to write down my question properly. Do you think your experience will be able to help other people dealing with either what you have experienced or what not only what you have experienced, but what some people are experiencing right now, because the coronavirus has created apparently a lot of things?
I think it would reach everybody on some level, because the mental health side of things at the moment, obviously with the coronavirus, and it was already on the increase, and suicide rates are rising, especially in young men. But again, having 3 boys. Not to exclude my daughter from this, but having 3 boys, I've been aware of that fact, and I do watch them closely. I watch all 4 of them closely, but I am aware that boys in the past were brought up just to sort of keep their emotions succumbed.
Us too.
Yeah. So I just. Yeah, I'm just aware, but I do think it will reach people on every single level. I think there'll be something there for everybody, where you'll recognise yourself and think, that happens to me, that happened to me, and I think the takeaway from it will be, you have to be kind to yourself. We're all human, as you said. We all make mistakes and errors along the way. It's trying to move forward from them. But learn from them as well. It's when you don't learn and you keep making the same mistakes, which I know I did.
There is no judgment here. I'm just asking, do you think you're going to have some sort of backlash from some people?
Sorry, I jumped right in there. Yeah. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Because you will name them at some point.
Yeah, at some point I will.
Yeah.
To be fair, some people might recognise themselves anyway if they were to hear it. Yeah, there will be, and I'll have to deal with that as it arises.
You have 3 boys, and they're
very protective.
Yeah.
My daughter's very protective. but they love their father as well, fathers. Because my whole idea about, well, not idea, my whole thing throughout was to make sure they had a relationship with their fathers, even though mine had broken down. I didn't see that it was fair for them to pay for the fact that, you know, me and their dad didn't love each other anymore. That's the way I've kind of sold it to them.
That was actually my next question.
Sorry.
As in, how are you going to handle that?
Yeah.
Because they're not, you know, the terrible thing about some people is that they have their ways of scaring people. We're not talking triads here, we're not talking mafia, we're not talking about that. But they have ways of scaring people. So, I hope you're going to be able to handle that. Because a podcast, or a video cast, or something on YouTube, this is very powerful. And that will reach people.
Yeah, I am aware of that, and obviously, you know, you and I will talk again about the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, I've been taken to court for the most minor of things by my ex, because he wanted to go away on holiday, and I said, well, you know, I can't have the children while you want to go away, just on this particular occasion. And so he took me to court to force me to take the children while he went away on holiday with his wife, or his girlfriend at the time, and also brought in, what was it, about Christmas, because we had shared care of the children when they were little, and he had them for Christmas one year, and Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and I think Boxing Day, and then the following year he wouldn't have had them for Christmas Day, so he got things changed as far as that was concerned, so we could alternate Christmas, which is what I was happy with. But he would have been quite happy at that time to have the children for 3 years on Christmas Day on the trot. And when he took me to court over the holiday and the Christmas thing, I brought up Easter, because my son had said to me, even though he was only little, he's not bothered about Easter. Yeah, he gets Easter with us every single year. You never get Easter with us. You get Easter morning, and that's it. Not once have we spent Easter Sunday with you. We're not religious. It's just a family day. That's the way we see it. The court pretty much laughed at him, and the solicitor that he took to represent him, I didn't take anybody. I went with my newborn baby and my partner at the time. We went into the court. The court official there sat me down and went through and said she would sit with me. His solicitor came in and he just said, I will never represent this man again. He is not a nice man, and I can't believe he's even doing this. This is ridiculous. The court official, she said to me, he's took a sledgehammer to a nut. He could have sorted this out with you. He's just trying to intimidate you.
Wow. Well, I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to take 20 seconds to say that I knew Debbie in the nightlife of Manchester. She was a good friend. We were having a laugh, we were having drinks. She was dating a friend of mine sometimes, and that's why we kept in touch. But again, this is another thing that happens sometimes when we go out, especially in this country. I'm sorry, we are in England, so is that we never realize that behind somebody, behind a smile, behind a look, behind a touch, that there are some people out there who are going through something dramatic, something difficult, something hard. And Debbie, although I know Debbie for such a long time, it's only today I found out about this. You see, and yet we talk a lot. We always laugh. She knows my partner. She knows business I've created. I'm ready to be. I'm ready. We are ready to produce her to make sure she has a voice. You know, our podcast is not going to just help people here.
Yeah.
It could be posted also in various platforms worldwide. Okay, Spotify, iTunes, Himalaya in China. Do you think, if somebody was about to produce maybe a movie about you, what kind of movie will resemble the most of all the stuff that is out there right now? Your story, really.
I think my story is, obviously it spans over quite a long time, and the whole narrative of it, because I've seemed to have selected a similar type of person each and every time. I'd say that the one that comes closest is Dirty John, because
Yeah, I see which
Dirty
one.
John,
Yeah.
Well, I was asked by a girl that I know, and she said, "Oh, it's a great series. You need to watch it." And I thought, okay, I'll put this on. I got home, flicked on the TV, flicked on, I think it might be on Netflix,
Yeah.
and started to watch it. And I went in and I saw her the next day, and she went, "What did you think?" And I went, "It's a little bit close to home for me." I said, "I can't watch it. I
Wow.
really can't watch it." So I haven't watched it. I couldn't. It's not necessarily just one person. I think he encompasses quite a few people that have been in my life, and some of the things that I saw him doing, I realised that could have been me.
Okay.
If I did ignore the inner voice inside of me that was sometimes screaming really loudly and waving the red flags around everywhere. I did ignore it because I always tried to see the best in people. No, he's a good person, No, they just, that's wrong. No, you've misread that signal, and yeah, I could have easily fell into that complete and utter role. And just been completely more downtrodden than I actually was at one point. But as I say, my selection in partners, they're in him.
There's the thing, and I need to tell you as well, is that usually when a podcast come out, there are a group of people who are obviously going to listen, to download, to listen later. Some people might decide to judge you. Some people might decide to say, "Oh, why did she do this? Or why did she talk to this guy? Why did she not leave?" What if you were to have a discussion with these people, face to face? What would you tell them?
At the time, I just didn't listen to that voice inside of me, because it was completely oppressed. I'd gone through my whole adult life being completely dismissed, told I was of no value, told I won't swear, but something ugly, told I was lucky to have a certain person as a partner, and I should be grateful. So eventually everything gets eroded, and you stop being able to hear this voice inside, and it goes silent. Then you start to make really bad choices, especially sort of when you're on your own. And it's not that I inflicted these choices on my children. I kept them separate predominantly, not completely. I've got to be perfectly honest, not completely all the time. But on the whole, everyone was kept away from my children that I could keep away.
Yeah.
But yeah, if someone confronted me and asked me why I've made those choices, I'd probably say because that was what I was used to. That was the level I was working at. So the bar I'd been brought down pretty low. Even though it was high to begin with, it had been brought down low, and then lower, and then lower, to a point where I could no longer see that bar was ridiculously low, and I should have had more value in myself. Bit by bit, I picked myself up, started to read different things, listen to different things, where trying to give myself that voice back. something else happened just a couple of years ago that really knocked me sideways, and through that I properly found a voice, properly did, and yeah, I can now recognize some of the signs and signals that, whether they're male or female, because women are just as guilty of some of these tricks, so to speak, but obviously for me it's men, and I can spot them a bit. I'm smarter now. I work smarter, and I'm not saying I'll never make mistakes again, but I also am aware that I should listen as well to other voices going around me, like friends, for instance, who spot things, who see things. But these other people can be very clever and very devious, very manipulative, and they'll get there with their side of things, and then they'll make that person that's tried to say something about them. Say, for instance, we saw, I'll use the name John holding hands with another woman, and I confront John, and he'll say, well, I don't know where they got that from, because yes, we were all out as a group of friends, but I wasn't holding anybody's hand. She just made that up, and I would say, well, why would she make that up? Well, I don't know why. That definitely didn't happen. We were out as a group of friends, and I'm like, okay. And then to add to it, but not at the same time, maybe like a few days later would say, listen, I didn't want to tell you this, but before I met you, me and that girl almost got together, and I knocked her back. So maybe she's got a little bit of a thing about that. So at that point, because that's something that did happen, at that point I thought, well, what he's saying could be true, although I'm not sure, and what she's saying could be true, and I'm not sure. So I thought, I'm just going to go along with this, and I'm going to keep both of them, because I didn't want to lose a friend, and I didn't want to lose him. So we carried on seeing each other, and she remained my friend, and she's still my friend to this day. However, I know she was telling the truth, not him.
Okay. Debbie, I have to say, I was very, very far away from what I was expecting to talk about with you today.
Right.
I know you had a lot of issues with people. I know you had a lot of issues with, like you said yourself, with the choice of men and everything, but I'm knocked sideways as well, because I wasn't expecting this. However, like I said, we are giving a voice to people here as a Golden Studio. We are going to produce a podcast of Debbie, and it's going to be available, and we will post it not only on YouTube but on other places where you will be able to listen to it. And I can tell you, she gave me the outline. She gave me, I'm sorry to say it like that, darling, was this compared to even what you just said now. So there will be a lot of betrayal, a lot of cheating, lies, deceit, some scheming.
Mental health stuff as well.
Mental health stuff.
An awful lot.
Yeah. But I can guarantee you, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a movie. This is something that has happened to a dear friend of mine, and you will need to listen to it. Debbie, is there anything else, my darling, you would like to add?
I just hope that whatever I've got to say is heard, and I'm really grateful if anyone does listen and does hear it, and I'll be even more grateful if someone finds something similar for themselves and is able to find their own voice and recognise that they can stand up for themselves. They might not need to leave a relationship, they might be able to better it, because they found their voice. It's not all about leaving people and people being bad. It's about standing up on your own 2 feet and being safe and being heard and valued.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be en French they say le mot de la fin. Debbie, meaning the end of our interview. Debbie, thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
No problem, my darling. And then remember to listen to her in a few weeks on our page. And it was Carlo Colombo here in Manchester with the Golden Studio. Have a nice day, guys.